Halloween 2018, the story behind this horror revival. The Halloween film series has a history filled with twists and turns, reinventing itself numerous times since the original John Carpenter classic hit theaters. It's fascinating, because at its heart, the story is straightforward. An embodiment of pure evil, picks up a knife and mercilessly attacks anyone in his path. Yet despite this simplicity, the franchise has continually refreshed itself, keeping audiences intrigued. In 2018, Universal Pictures and Blumhouse delivered a new chapter, David Gordon Green's Halloween, which boldly discarded all previous sequels and lore except what was shown in the very first movie. Fans had waited eagerly for Michael Myers, also known as The Shape, to return to his bloody rampage, especially after Rob Zombie's divisive take on the character faded from memory. But why did the filmmakers decide to start fresh by only honoring the original movie's story? Buckle up as we explore what truly happened with the 2018 Halloween reboot. After Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, 2009 was met with disappointment and criticism, it became clear Michael Myers needed a new direction. Plans for a third film in Zombie's version surfaced, but Zombie himself stepped away from the project. Instead, horror duo Patrick Lussier and Todd Farmer, known for Drive Angry, were tapped to develop Halloween 3D. Unfortunately, this project stumbled due to budget conflicts and an unfinished script, causing it to collapse. Over the next several years, multiple reboot attempts were made but never came to fruition, including a project called Halloween Returns by Feast and Saw writers Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan. When that effort stalled, the franchise entered a state of uncertainty. Dimension Films, formerly run by the Weinstein brothers, lost their rights to the franchise, leaving fans wondering if Michael Myers would ever return. Then came Blumhouse's groundbreaking announcement in May 2015, shaking the horror community. They had acquired the Halloween rights along with Miramax and Trancas Entertainment, and the original mastermind John Carpenter was back on board as executive producer after many years of distancing himself from the series. For longtime fans and skeptics alike, this was thrilling news. The big question then became, who would take the director's chair for this ambitious reboot? Initially, a few intriguing names surfaced. Mike Flanagan, who was gaining fame with films like Oculus and Hush, was considered. He admitted he never had a fully developed pitch and even toyed with the idea of making Dr. Loomis a female character. Reflecting later, he felt glad the opportunity went to someone else, since his film Hush already served as his homage to the original Halloween. Another candidate was Adam Wingard, fresh from directing genre hits like You're Next and The Guest. Wingard expressed his enthusiasm for the project and revealed that John Carpenter personally supported him as a potential director, an honor Wingard valued deeply. However, the deal didn't work out, and he too had effectively created his own Halloween-inspired work through The Guest. With these frontrunners out, a surprise choice emerged nearly 2 years after Blumhouse's initial announcement: David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. Neither were horror veterans, making their selection unexpected. Carpenter himself revealed the news on his Facebook page, teasing that he might also return to compose the music, which he ultimately did. Green and McBride pitched their version directly to Carpenter, outlining a vision that acted as a direct sequel to the 1978 classic, intentionally ignoring all subsequent sequels and retcons, including the controversial sibling storyline linking Michael Myers to Laurie Strode. The release was slated for October 2018, fitting the Halloween season perfectly. The big cliffhanger: would Jamie Lee Curtis return as Laurie Strode, the original film's iconic survivor? Green and McBride reportedly wrote 80 drafts over 8 months and continued polishing the script during production. Their goal was to craft a compelling story that would persuade Curtis to reprise her legendary role. They transformed Laurie from a vulnerable babysitter into a hardened survivalist, haunted by Michael's inevitable return. Early ideas included filming 2 movies back-to-back, but they opted to hold off on the sequel until the first film's reception was clear. Eventually, 2 follow-up films were greenlit after the reboot's success. Curtis was thoroughly impressed with the script and embraced the chance to return to Haddonfield, especially with the story occurring 40 years after the original. Green welcomed Curtis's input, allowing her to shape Laurie's character alongside his vision. Nick Castle, the man who originally donned the Michael Myers mask, also returned for a few scenes, while stuntman James Jude Courtney handled the majority of the physical portrayal. Castle's involvement signaled the filmmakers' respect for the franchise's roots. One notable absence was Danielle Harris, who played Laurie's daughter Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4 and 5, and appeared in Zombies movies too. Harris reached out, eager to be part of the new film given her character's importance, but was declined due to the decision to disregard all sequels except the original. Instead, Judy Greer was cast as Laurie's daughter Karen, an entirely new character unrelated to Jamie Lloyd. Early script drafts intended to open with a scene echoing the end of the original movie, including a cameo for Dr. Loomis, played by Green's art director, who bore a striking resemblance to Donald Pleasence. Carpenter advised the filmmakers against this, recommending they jump straight into the new narrative without revisiting the old. Despite its major studio backing, the 2018 Halloween retained a scrappy, independent feel akin to the original film. The production schedule was tight, only 25 days to shoot, and the budget was modest at $10 million, a hallmark of the Blumhouse approach. Green embraced these constraints, viewing them as creative opportunities reminiscent of how Carpenter crafted his low-budget masterpiece. Filming took place in Charleston, South Carolina, where Green and McBride had previously worked on HBO's Vice Principals. Though initially scheduled for October 2017, shooting was pushed to January 2018, with filming wrapping by February and brief reshoots occurring in June that same year. The classic Michael Myers mask was expertly recreated by makeup artist Christopher Nelson, who made life casts of James Jude Courtney's face to ensure a perfect fit. The mask was intentionally weathered to reflect the 40 years that passed since the original. Courtney's portrayal of Michael was inspired by his cat's stalking movements, giving the character an eerie efficiency in his kills. When Halloween premiered on October 19, 2018, it was a phenomenal success, raking in $77 million domestically in its opening weekend and accumulating over $255 million worldwide. For a film made on a fraction of that budget, it was a massive return on investment. This was far from the end of Michael Myers' story. As planned, 2 more sequels featuring the same creative team followed, ensuring the Shape would continue his bloody saga despite his advancing age. Love it or hate it, David Gordon Green's reboot breathed new life into one of horror's most iconic franchises, shining a fresh spotlight on the 1978 classic that launched it all. And here's the part most people miss. Should fans embrace this reboot as the definitive timeline, or keep debating across the many conflicting sequels and reboots? The choice is yours. How do you feel about resetting a beloved franchise by erasing decades of story? Sound off in the comments and let's debate. For more deep dives into horror cinema, check out previous episodes on our Joe Blow Horror Originals YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe.